I remember like when I was maybe 7, 8 years old, we would have chores every weekend. And like my mom would be like, all right, Taylor, you're on bathroom duty. You're on kitchen duty, like scrubbing the floor and stuff. And one time I unknowingly mixed bleach and vinegar, not knowing, that makes chlorine gas.
Bleach and ammonia.
Bleach and, is that it? Mm-hmm. Bleach and ammonia? Whatever makes...
I've made my share of gases.
Okay, well, it was bleach and ammonia then.
I've used them for rats before.
I remember like I'm a little kid and I like start wiping the countertop and I'm like, I feel sick, and I just left the room and I nothing ever came of it. It's because I didn't make a big pot of it. I was just like a kid, so I was like, multiple cleaning agents, I'll be done twice as fast. And
yeah,
so
that stuff's
just
really
spraying
dangerous.
them onto the wall. Thank God it was a tiny like spritz amount of it, but that still makes enough to like get you coughing and feel sick.
I guess that's chlorine gas.
I think so.
Have you ever seen the video, the black and white video of World War I, when they would unleash a big wave of it? They would do it on a day where, I don't know, air pressure was and the wind direction was conducive to this, but they would basically just have like giant vats of it poured together on the battlefield, and like because of the weather conditions, it would create this low-lying fog because the chlorine gas is so heavy, it gets low to the ground in this thick little fog,
the trenches,
and it flows.
Yeah.
It starts creeping toward the enemy lines, and there's nothing to do against it except for piss in a rag and throw it on your face, or use that gas mask you were issued 8 months ago, right? Like,
it sounds terrifying. Imagine seeing the death fog just rolling in, and that's a slow, painful death. You might not even be able to outrun it if you just totally abandoned your station.
All your mucous membranes go into like overdrive, and the ones in your lungs especially. So you begin drowning on your own like fluids essentially, while like your eyes, nose, throat, everything are just like foaming.
They should make it so you can be safe on top of the trenches, right? Like all you need is a little sandbag so that you can get above the trench, right? Am I crazy?
Not like they didn't have.
Well, then that's where the guns are.
That's where the bullets are.
But the guns. All you need is a small hill above the hole. Like if there's just a hole, then you get out of the hole, you die. If there's a hole next to a small wall, then you can be out.
I feel like it'd be like everybody's in the trench and they're like, smoke's coming in, head for the hill, and the Germans are like, they're all running for the hill as planned.
No, I'm just picturing a sandbag wall a couple feet away from the trench that you can be on the ledge.
I think the issue is that you've got like a trench that's like miles and miles wide that has to be manned all the time because they're you've been butting forces somewhere in France with the Germans for
I think I'm not explaining myself. When you make a trench, you have excess dirt.
They put that in sandbags and they pile them up.
And now you can exist outside the trench behind the sandbags.
No,
I don't think that's as safe.
No,
I don't know.
I would say if the trenches didn't work, they wouldn't have done them because they didn't seem like fun.
No, but I feel like they were.
But the trenches let you stand
warfare
upright.
Again.
Anyway,
you also would have lived in the trench. People would have got
I need an artist rendering. I'm not opposed to the opposed. I just need a drawing.
You're in luck.
Can we take 10-15 minutes
on a first grade level?
Dude, Woody, I want one of those like 4chan level MS Paint drawings of how you imagine the hill, the trenches, do all that.
Bro,
like I could even do that.
No, because the worse it is, the funnier.
Because if you think that let me ask you this, Woody. Do you think that if you could go back to World War I in a time machine and you could give them this tip, do you think that you could save lives?
I'm processing it. I think that it's not that I'm smarter than these soldiers of World War I.
Of course not. No,
it's just that I have a glimpse into their future, which involves chlorine gas. So rather than put the sandbags at the edge of the wall, push them back. See what we have here? A wall. Where did all the dirt go that made that trench? Zach, put your mouse in, like your in front of the guy. There should be like a sandbag with holes in it that people are shooting through in front of his face.
Okay, it might have been a resource issue because you're building miles of wall. If you have miles of wall, you can't double your effort to build sandbags and shit when the hole blocks all the bullets.
Where did the dirt go they used to make the trench? They removed dirt.
It looks like
from the
ground
trench.
line on the right side.
See, they put it behind them. That's a terrible mistake. Put it in front of them, and then they.
No, Woody, they're making a little hill behind them to your specifications.
You're in the wrong spot.
Woody, I just don't understand in what scenario
you can shoot through the hole in the sandbags. It's gonna be delightful. You're gonna love my trench idea.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that was done many times. but let's just say we put some sandbags with a hole in front of them in front of this man. How does that save him from chlorine gas?
Because he can climb out of the trench and be behind the sandbags.
No, he would have to it's going to flow over the top and then down into the trench. So it's going to flow over the fucking sandbags and over wherever he is and keep going down in a massive wave that probably lasts for like an hour.
Wait a
so
minute,
unless he's standing on his tiptoes on top, like stretching up out here, he's gonna choke on it.
Zach, bring the image back up.
Bring the image back up because we have misinterpreted this image entirely. Look at what this is showing. This is showing
in the back shitting.
No, they're showing a scenario in which this man can go prone and like be underground and shoot through a fucking hole, right? Is that not what I'm looking at? Look at how he's in position B right now. Look at what C, B, and A are. In A, he is in a prone position, firing through some sort of hole.
Wait, no. But look at that. That's like follow the ground line, and it shows depending on where the ground line is with that dotted line, the different positions you would take. So A is if the ground line is barely lower than the shooting position. B is if it's medium level, and then D down there, or C, you can see his right leg up, and then D, both feet down in the deepest trench. You see what I mean? That ground line.
Yeah. You can tell. You can tell by and like see the M there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fuck is that?
That is for, it's like passing treats, snacks, trinkets.
Oh, okay.
Mustaches.
Oh, they got it's no. It's like one of those sushi conveyor belt things. They got a string.
Yeah.
And it's just grenades, and it's like, oh, I think I will have a grenade.
Is M for?
I think
really
it's
baffled.
I think it's for like passing stuff between the two sides. So you don't.
Am I the only one that
when you pass struggles?
Like looking at stuff like this, like I feel like I don't look at L and G. There's some kind of a fucking crawl space underneath.
There's a bunch of stuff. So, war isn't like they knew what people were doing. They built these things sequentially. They would build something. The other side would come up with something like chlorine gas that would destroy the trench's usefulness. And then they would build their trenches differently to survive the chlorine gas or do gas.
You didn't address LNG at all. I think they're just storage areas, Kyle.
Well, L was a retaining wall to like keep it together, I think. Okay, thank
you. Can we please? Oh,
color.
Well, we're in color now. Okay, so Woody, please show me how we defend against that.
They're kind of doing it here. Do you see the sandbags? All he needs to do is lay down behind the sandbags.
You still die there. Where the fuck do you think the chlorine gas flows over?
Drifter.
Sorry.
I need a chance to talk to you. My theory was that the gas was heavy and going through the trench to get to you. It was traveling in the trench, not that it traveled over the.
Oh, yeah, no.
So that's where my mistake comes in.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's traveling toward your trench, perpendicular to it from the
very heavy. Mm-hmm. I thought that it had seeped into like the first heavy thing it found, and then it was traveling via trench to.
No, it roils along the ground, and it finds all the hidey holes and tunnels. Like it goes down and like.
That's why, that's why like each side.
But that wasn't even the most effective way to use it. I'm describing like one instance where I watched them do this thing where they just combined it raw and like created the gas and let it flow like that. That's the shitty way to do it. Eventually, they used artillery shells to deliver it and mortar rounds to deliver it, so they could pinpoint accurately. Explode the gas right amongst the enemy and do it in such a cluster that like instantly a whole line like hundreds and thousands of people are getting exposed to this gas and going blind.
You asked Woody, you were like, if you go back in time and you share this info, do you think you could save lives? I go back in time to World War I. They go, we're about to send troops, we're about to get moving. I go, guys, don't even waste your time on this one. Let it happen. There's going to be another guy in about 13 years. Save your resources for that guy. I'm telling you. Like, no, we have to get over there. Trust me on this. Let this happen. Let World War I play out. We save up all our resources for World War II. You know how much we took advantage of the UK, France, all those countries, us giving them huge amounts of resources for loans they couldn't possibly pay back. That then we made them take like manufacturing contracts in our country in the 50s. Like, and that helped like our economy grow in a big way. Like we could do that to an even bigger extent. We go, nope, sorry, World War I, we're not jumping in. We have a hunch because of this really smart guy with a normal size head and normal BMI came back in time, and he told us not to waste time because there's a mustachioed motherfucker coming up in the next 13 years. I would be a hero.
To be fair,
you sure that there would be a World War II if you prevented World War I?
Well, we don't know.
He's going to prolong. See, the problem with that is Hitler's fighting in World War I, right? Well, it's his main. Everybody jokes about the art thing, but Hitler Hitler was upset about the way World War One ended, and he felt that that Germany was a military power that at the very least could have sued for a better deal at the end, because Germany got really fucked at the end. They were just like, whatever you want, take it. They did one of those when in reality they could have been. They had a better bargaining position.
Is that the Treaty of Versailles, right?
And I don't think so, but I'm not great with that. I thought Versailles was World War II, but I'm no. It's the pomp. It's the what's the one from Sopranos? They make fun of it. Like he couldn't. He said it wrong. But I'm not gonna. It doesn't matter.
Something Accords.
Yeah. It's the one where Stalin and Churchill and FDR are all there together.
He's a fucking interior designer from Czechoslovakia.
It's like the
what you're talking about.
It's like the compassed, fucking can't roll off my tongue thing.
Potsdam Agreement.
That's it.
Did I get it?
Yeah, you got it.
I didn't
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I needed. I'm just too late to fucking do it, apparently. It's better if I struggle for it.
I like to tap keys while I think. I'm sorry, it's a nervous tick. I tap keys and I dart my eyes around when I'm thinking.
Okay, do you guys ever notice that your hands will like type what you're thinking sometimes? If you're just like thinking about stuff, your fingers will just type it a little.
Yeah.
No?
My N key is worn out.
The G fell off so long ago. It gets worked at least twice as hard as the N.
Just some racist guy always typing it. some racist Rain Man. Always. I remember like learning about World War II and being so like the only thing I took away from it was that every country had different kinds of tanks and all the tanks had advantages and disadvantages, and so I got really into tanks for a while when I was like 10.
What's your favorite tank?
Well, I like the Tiger. I like the Russian Tiger because it basically was it was the tactics they used with it, because the only reason that the Tiger on the USSR side was able to even compete with the German Panzer was because they brought so many. And the meme is always, oh, it's the US with the Shermans that brought so many. The Russians did the same thing. And the T2 Tiger tank had
that's what I was thinking.
gun.
We got a fact check live here. Tiger tanks are German.
I was trying to say that from the very beginning. But
wait, what's the big one? What's the giant USSR
tank? Well, what you want to go to is the Mouse. But it's like however you spell mouse in German, like
T-34. I was saying T-22 or some shit. The T-34 Soviet tank, that was the big one.
Did you ever play that Company of
Company of Heroes?
The game where you move the squads around, the RTS game.
Yeah, I mean, you and I played it together.
I'm trying to remember if that's you that played that with us, like back then. Did you play that with us where you could move the tanks around? It was an RTS with tanks and squads and machine gunners and.
You think about Red Alert, right?
Maybe
that was a great game.
I haven't played that in a while. I could be down. I've been playing so much Tarkov, but I could be lured away.
Tarkov needs tanks.
Tarkov does. Tarkov's getting APC soon, right? The scab boss on the next map's rolling around on an APC.
They'll have tanks before you know it at this rate, right?
I hate tanks in a game. I hate it when like, oh, the way to do well in this game is to get in the tank, and then you can kill all the people who are on foot and pretend you're good.
Wouldn't it be fine if they like gave the tank enough downside that like one, subversive person could kind of like throw a bomb on it?
We were playing a game recently. We were playing a tank game like a while back. I didn't care for it, but everybody else was down. Where like we were like 3 or 4 men controlling a tank, and everybody had a job, so it was kind of neat. Like one guy's driving, obviously, and one guy's on like the coaxial machine gun, like the little one, and then somebody's on the main gun, and then we may have even had a fourth in there as like our spotter, who's just all the time just like looking, and he's like, "Oh, fucking 3 o'clock, like on foot," and the coax spins around, like chopping guys down, and working as a team like that because. In that game, like it was really well balanced. It seemed like it was hard to use a tank. Like the guys who had like rocket launchers in the woods, you'd be hard to spot them.
Didn't Battlefield did that when they added tanks, right? Like they made them really hard to control as a way to balance it.
Battlefield is kind of dead right now, so